The Big Ten race continues and a couple of road trips this past week for the Wisconsin Badgers. A Wednesday night matchup at the Barn, otherwise known as Williams Arena in Minneapolis. The Badgers taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and then a fairly quick turn. An early window road game on Saturday at the Chrysler Center. The Badgers and the Michigan Wolverines. We'll take a look at the highlights of the games of this past week. Our Lexi Graytech had a chance to catch up with Badgers sophomore guard Brad Davison. We'll hear from the Minnesota native, and we'll have our weekly conversation with head coach Gard. All coming up on today's edition of the Badgers Sports Report.
Tries throwing to Davison out front against Charles Matthews. Grab with a feed for Happ. Ethan against Teskey. Ethan in the lane, up left hand, good. And Happ off to a good start. 2-4 against Brosdakis. 15 on the shot clock. Now Trice just outside the center circle. Dimitri pounding the dribble. The Simpson digs in. Little screen from Happ. And now a three in the air from Trice. Nothing but net. With the third best shooter from distance in the Big Ten Conference. Throwing to Happ right of the circle. Davison at the top, picked up the dribble, bounce pass inside, Pritzel feeds Iverson to the rim, slam dunk, it counts, and a foul. Another emphatic and one, courtesy of Khalil Iverson. Throwing to Davison at the top, refeeds Trice. Dimitri thinking about it, but the 7-1 Teskey's out on him. Now Davison with it, left of the lane, leaves it for Happ. Left block, up goes Ethan, around the rim and in. 14 for Ethan Happ. Dimitri picked up by Teskey on a switch, long two, right side. Back iron no good, rebound tip. Kobe tipped it to Reavers, low on the left, up and in. Reavers the bucket, but Kobe King kept that alive. Lean forward, throwing to Davison left side. Brad dribbles off the left wing. In the lane, pivots, try to muscle it up. Left hand, good. Wow. Somehow, some way. Davison able to finish. Trice throwing to King on the right wing. King trying to drive on Poole. Low on the right, one pump, goes up and in. 4 for Kobe King. Badgers back within 3. Trice outside right, throws to King on the right wing. A jab step. Poole defends. King loops it inside. Reavers catches. Baseline right. Turnaround 10-footer off the rim and in. Reavers with 6. Back to Reavers high on the right with the shot clock at 12. Trice between the circles. Ball screen Reavers. Shot clock at 8. Trice against Teskey on the switch. Deep 3. Trice right side. Money. Second hit from distance for Dimitri Trice. Iverson rather in the lane. Feeds King with 8 to shoot. King against Brosdakis. Now Davison. Deep 3 right side. Yes, sir. Brad Davison. Now Happ versus Teskey. Ethan with 10 on the shot clock. Ethan runs it out to Reavers. Good look at a 3. Right side. Nailed it. Nate Reavers from distance. 49-48. Michigan with 5.5 minutes remaining. Badgers down 3 is starting to get late. Here's Ethan left of the lane. Backing on Matthews. Height advantage. Ethan low on the left. Goes up and in. 18 for Happ. 51-50 Michigan. This is Wisconsin basketball. Stolen by Ethan Happ. Happ to the rim, and he hammers it down with the right hand. He'll drive to the goal and hammers it down. And running into Davison, who takes the charge again. The feed to Trice, who splashes a triple. Out the fourth, the 3 left of the circle, tie game.
The Badger Sports Report with Gard is presented by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2018 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
This is where amazing happens, where ideas turn into realities. This is where they developed a better way to observe blood flow, a better way to visualize pediatric heart surgeries before they even happen. You see, at UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital, they're not just changing the lives of their patients, they're changing the way the world treats complex pediatric conditions. UW Health. Remarkable.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! And the winner by unanimous decision, Hy-Vee!
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There is no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
Now backing in. Wants the up and under. He'll instead feed Trice in the left corner. He'll dribble to the wing as the Gophers regroup defensively. 10 on the shot clock. Trice goes in a half left of the lane. A double team from Coffey and Curry. Bounce pass Iverson. Low on the right. And he hammers it down. And a foul. Khalil Iverson just dropped the hammer. And it's an and one for the senior. Comes Davison up the right sideline for the Badgers. Drives on Coffey off the wing to the rim. Runs it up and in. Davison with 5. And it's 10-5 Wisconsin. 13:35 left in the half. Feeds Davison. He'll catch right wing. Bounces to Happ right of the paint against Oturu. Backing his Happ at the right block. Ethan twisting left shoulder and flipped it in with the right hand. First points for Ethan Happ. 14-9 Wisconsin. 1 of 2 from long range. Trice wants a quick hitter. Reverse low on the left. Slam dunk. They get the quick hitter. And the flush from the sophomore. And 9 rebounds to go with that scoring output. Davison throws to Reavers. Wide open 3 left side. Money for Nate Reavers, a 40% shooter from distance coming in. 19-15 Wisconsin. Dupree McBrayer high on the left, dribbles across the top of the circle, moving left to right. He'll send to Kalsher left of the circle, 8 to shoot. Oturu will. Foul line jump off the rim. Rebound Jordan Murphy up, blocked from behind. Looked like Reavers getting another one in there. Here's Davison at the free throw line. Bounce pass to Happ, left of the lane. Oturu went down, no sail, and is spinning away from 2 defenders. Feeds Iverson, who hammers it down again. Oh, what a feed. Happ to Khalil, and a 7-point lead for Wisconsin. Happ at the right elbow, moving in on Oturu. Low on the right, doubled by Murphy. Feeds Reavers in the lane. Tough shot, good. In heavy traffic, Nate Reavers able to finish. He has 7. Davison throwing to Reavers. The Minnesota boys playing catch. Reavers bounce pass to Happ against Oturu. Right of the paint with 10 to shoot. Happ backing in the lane. Turns left shoulder. One pump goes up and in. Happ with 12. And here's Amir Coffey through the center circle. He'll flip to McBrayer high on the left. McBrayer, a pass fake, puts it on the deck. Baseline left, muscles it up. Blocked again by Reavers. Another rejection. Britzel top of the circle. Bounce pass Reavers high on the right. Murphy crowding Reavers, leaves it for Trice. Shot clock at 10, game clock a minute 50. Trice high on the right. Curry picks him up. Trice, a 3 right side. He hit it! Demetric Trice. Cold-blooded again.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
Trice to the front court. Demetric going to Reavers right of the circle. Bounce pass to Happ. He's against Eric Curry. Backing his Happ out to Reavers. Fakes the 3. Steps to the right elbow. Jumper away. Good. Reavers with 9. 45-40 Wisconsin. Kalsher a pass to Coffey. Rotates to Washington high on the left. Shot clock at 10. Washington at the foul line. A step in. Shot blocked by Reavers. Happ pulls it down for Wisconsin. Another block for Nate Reavers. His 5th of the game.
Just another week in the Big Ten for the Badgers. 2 road games. Wednesday night, the late game against Minnesota. And then Saturday, the early window game in Ann Arbor against the Michigan Wolverines. I know, Greg, posed this to you before the game in Minneapolis. On the surface, boy, what a tough stretch here for the Badgers, but it's Big Ten basketball. Doesn't matter. We've seen way too many examples of teams that might be struggling in the Big Ten standings, but they rise up and beat somebody. Just so happens you're playing the teams that are a little in the upper half. So, but it's just the way it works in this league, right?
It is. I mean, there's no off night. There's no, as we've kind of coined, get well games, so to speak. And I think even this year, maybe more than ever, the home road court thing really doesn't matter. You can kind of, it's a coin flip at times because we're seeing teams that normally maybe don't lose at home, and it's been a wild. I think everybody that predicted this back in October said the depth of this league, the parity in this league would be something to behold, and I think we're seeing it play out.
Well, we certainly have seen this with Wisconsin basketball for a number of years, the success on the road in the Big Ten, and it continued, obviously, going into Minnesota, where that crowd was into it, right? That might have been their feistiest crowd, but your guys, does it start? I mean, there's a lot of intangibles maybe, but the defensive end, that's the one thing you always pack that gives you a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you try to be as consistent in the things you can control. Sometimes maybe you're not going to knock down shots or those things don't go your way offensively, but if you can control the game with your defense and minimize your turnovers, that's going to give you a chance. And then what you want on the road is to make it a 3 or 4 minute game there at the end and grab control of it or have control of it. And I think the other thing is our guys, and this goes way back, we have not made a big deal of being on the road. It's really no different. We try to really downplay or not even talk about or completely minimize the crowd impact. It's really what we focus on is what we can control on the floor, that 94 by 50 rectangle. Those hoops are 10 feet high just like they are here at the Kohl Center. So let's go do the things that we can control and try to play as solid and as consistent as we can for 40 minutes. But the defense and the reducing the turnovers play a big part of that.
This might be an annual topic, but especially walking out of the barn on Wednesday night in a game that was in the 50s, I'm just thinking that's how it works in this league. The deeper you get into the season, the harder it is to score, especially when you're playing these teams a second time. There just isn't much that's easy out there.
No, and I think the scouting, the preparation in this league is second to none, and I've heard that from other leagues or other coaches that have been in other leagues and then come to the Big Ten or vice versa, leave the Big Ten and go coach somewhere else, that the preparation, the venues you play in, nothing comes easy. And then games are grinders. Teams get really good in the half court. You get nothing easy, as you mentioned, so you have to find other ways and be solid in those other ways. You're not going to likely, for the most part, in most games, outscore teams. You're going to have to find other ways to be consistent defensively, and if you don't turn the ball over, that's giving you at least a fair shot offensively, and then you hopefully kick in a few buckets.
Yeah, which you did. You kicked in enough. Dimitri Trice, who's done this multiple times. I mean, a lot of other factors involved, but three-point game, it looks like the place is ready to erupt, and there he is with Eric Curry coming up on him. Hits another three. We've been able to say that a few times about Dimitri this year.
Yeah, we've had other guys over the years, Trey Jackson, Bronson Koenig, the list goes on, of guys that have made clutch shots, and you have to. You have to be able to answer on the road or even here at home. There's going to be tight situations where you're going to come down the last 2 or 3 minutes and a basket here, a basket there, or ones you can prevent on the defensive end or go a long ways in terms of, as we've talked about, you look at the final scores of a lot of games, and maybe they look a little further than what you would think. Oh, that game really wasn't that close. There's a lot of those shots in the last minute 45 that separate teams and are the difference in an outcome.
And you continue to talk about some other guys. Brevin Pritzel continues. He's hitting free throws at crunch time. And you made the point, we didn't even pose it to you, but you brought it up, and rightly so, with Charlie Thomas. Box score says, 2 minutes?
Right.
But he made the most out of the 2 minutes. He did some things defensively that were good and was able to buy time for somebody else heading into a media time.
Right, and just another physical presence. I watched going through the film. He was very physical. He was physical with the blockouts, prevented them from getting extra possessions, knocked the ball out of bounds on a post-feed attempt as we went into one of the media timeouts. So every little bit, regardless of who, like I've told the team, I don't care who it is, as long as it's the guy wearing a Wisconsin jersey, that's what we want.
And you've been able to, especially of late, avoid the fouls. I know that was something that you had talked about a little earlier in the Big Ten season. And Minnesota gets to the line a lot, period,
right.
Especially on the home floor. and able to, second half they got there some, obviously, but nothing in the first half. Low fouls both sides in the first half.
Yeah, we couldn't have any fewer fouls, I think, in the first half.
Pretty hard to beat none.
It is. But I think that's one thing we've gotten better at, and I think that's part of the reason, one of many reasons why we've been able to string, that row of games together successfully. We've gotten better defensively, and part of getting better defensively is not fouling teams as much.
All right, the Badgers return home now for a Tuesday night matchup, first against the Michigan State Spartans. That'll be a 6 o'clock tip at the Kohl Center, and then the next game isn't until the following Monday when the Badgers continue on the home floor against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Coach Gard returns in a few minutes with a great day and great question of the week as we continue with the Badgers Sports Report.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! And the winner by unanimous decision, Hy-Vee!
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2018 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Ever since she can remember, she's wanted to become a doctor, a surgeon to be exact. Maybe it's because she's good at science, or because she loves math, or maybe it's because Lydia was born with a serious craniofacial anomaly, a cleft lip and palate that required a series of complex surgeries. And now she just wants to help others, just like the surgeons at UW Health helped her. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
Shot clock at 10. Dimitri pounds the dribble at the center circle. Throws to Davison. Shot clock at 5. Game clock 107. Davison, deep three. Money for Brad Davison. And the Badgers lead by 12 with 1 minute to play. 22 seconds to play. Johnson against Davison, 20 seconds to play. Markel Johnson running into Davison, who takes the charge again. My goodness. Brad Davison on the defensive end draws the foul.
He was a threat on the court with just one shoulder. Now Brad Davison is a double threat with two.
He's the type of kid that's going to go all out, going to play physically, on both ends of the floor, seeking contact, playing through contact. So, when he's 100% physically, it really gives us another dimension of a guard that can guard, that can attack the rim, draw fouls and things of that nature. And, having two good shoulders really helps him be effective.
Kind of like a freeing feeling, you could say. There's a lot of things that I had to adapt to last year, having the shoulder injury. But now I have my full range of motion. I can use my left hand, so it's been awesome.
With a fully healthy backcourt, there were adjustments to be made this year.
Not having to bring it up, looking to score, and going guarding, I think that's a lot too. So, his position right now, it was an adjustment early. I think he's settling into it. His teammates are really looking for him and trying to get him some opportunities to score off the ball. And, as soon as he realizes that's going to be an easier situation for him, it'll come naturally.
It's been a challenge. I think early in the year I was still trying to get my feet wet, trying to figure out how I kind of fit in offensively. As the season's gone, it's a position. Basketball's still basketball. You're still a basketball player. So I tried to make the most of it, and I'm starting to get more comfortable in the position.
Davison for three, tied it! Brad Davison, a triple from the left side.
I think it just puts everyone in a more more positions have more opportunities. I think Meach is really good with the ball. It allows me to come off screens, and it allows us to be more versatile and just give teams different looks. And we can go back and forth. We can switch up defensive assignments. So it just gives us a lot more freedom.
The main thing is, teams can't just load up on him and be ready for him to come down the floor and be ready to take away his opportunities to score. When he's coming off of some action, when he's coming off screens and staggers, and having the ability to catch and look at the rim and take it or drive it, that's advantageous for us.
Even with his new role on the floor, he hasn't lost his voice as team leader.
Leadership isn't an age. Leadership is definitely an earned position and something that you get over time. It's not about how old you are, but it's kind of about how you carry yourself and the way that you can hold your teammates accountable. It's something I try to do every day, whether it's by leading by example or communicating. There's a lot of different ways you can be a leader, so I just try to be the best leader I can be.
He's always talking, always being positive around them, trying to, get guys up, help them realize that they're playing hard, they're doing good things, and being encouraging. And that's a good leader. So I think it's when it's consistent and you do it through good times and bad times, it's genuine. And you can tell that Brad has always got his mind in the right place, and his teammates appreciate that, I think.
Try to be as positive as I can. There's always a lot of ups and downs in the games, ups and downs in practice, but I try not to get too high or too low, which is easier said than done sometimes, but I always try to keep a smile on my face and be as positive as I can, and hope that energy rubs off on my teammates. Every team goes through ups and downs. When you go through a down, that means an up's coming. So we just got to keep the faith, continue to believe in each other and trust each other. We know how good we can be. We know the talent we have in that locker room, and when we stick together and do things our way, we're a really tough team to compete with.
He is loved on the Kohl Center floor, but Brad embraces his role as a villain on the road.
I think it's a form of respect when you go on the road and they don't necessarily like you. I try not to let it get to my head, but at the same time, you definitely hear the boos and you hear all the outside noise. But there's a fine line between hearing it and letting it affect you. So I just try not to let it affect me because I know that I'm much more than a basketball player and I have a much greater purpose than being a basketball player.
For the Badger Sports Report, I'm Lexi Graytech.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2018 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There's no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The Badger Sports Report with Greg Gard is presented by UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time for this week's Great Day and Great Question of the Week, and it comes from the other side of the border. Steve in St. Paul. Been reading some stories here of late about Recruiting in general, maybe at times specifically Minnesota, but recruiting in general, and he wants to know, Coach, it seems like you and your staff genuinely enjoy going out on the road, cultivating relationships. I know it's part of the job, but it seems like you guys embrace that.
Yeah, and Steve, thanks for your question. It is. Recruiting is all about relationships, and you really try to focus in on those specifically maybe even areas where you have relationships. Minnesota's a great example of 20 years of cultivating relationships there. We've had a lot of players come here that have had great success and more on the way. So it is. Relationships really are the biggest piece of the recruiting. And I think the other thing, our staff has done a great job over the years, my current staff and staffs that have been here in the past, of really understanding who we can recruit, what fits here at Wisconsin, what will be successful, and who will be successful here at Wisconsin. And I threw out a lot of cliches, but one of them I tell our staff is don't chase rabbits. Recruit who you can get, and we're going to recruit the people that fit and are about us. And again, the relationships really help us hone in on the right fits.
Yeah, it certainly has served you well. Good story, by the way, last week in the Wisconsin State Journal about recruiting, and more specific to Minnesota. Jim Polzine wrote the story. It's a good piece. If you haven't seen it yet, you may want to dig that up, give you a little insight to what the Badgers have been doing on the recruiting trail the last now going on 2 decades in Minnesota. Thanks a lot for your question. There is the Great Dane up in Wausau, as well as 4 in the Madison area on the east side of town. Downtown Fitchburg and Hilldale. Coach Gard's radio show resumes Monday night, 7 o'clock at the Hilldale Great Dane location. Badgers have the home floor on Tuesday night against Michigan State. 6 o'clock tip at the Kohl Center. Then the following Monday, the home stand, if you will, continues against Illinois. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2018 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
There is a boy who likes tractors and trains, a boy whose heart was far too strained. He was sick, you see, with a heart that broke. His heart needed fixing, his family needed hope. Enter our doctors with their newfangled tests. Enter our teams whose care is the best. Healthy and happy, the little boy's back, playing with tractors and trains on his track. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.